being recorded, so please know that. I just want to make sure I say that so everybody understands. It is 8:30 now, and we have a few more people joining us. But again, thank you for joining us for today's Coffee with the Principal. I really appreciate these opportunities of connecting with our families and hearing about what's going on from your perspective and answering your questions as best I can. We have some information to share with you, as Dr. Phelps shared with you last night in an email about the Poway's updated plan for return to campus. And again, as we do this, this session is being recorded. So I just want to let everyone know that so other families can see it on YouTube in case they miss today's meeting. All right, so last night, Dr. Phelps sent a message that stated that district leadership is going to go to the school board on Thursday night with the proposal that because of current testing rates in San Diego County, because of staffing concerns, wanting to make sure that we have all classes covered, and with the increase in the rate in San Diego County, we are going to have secondary schools are going to look at returning with our A and our B groups February 17th. But it's my understanding from the email, and I need to get clarification on this, is that we can return small groups like we had before starting February 1st. So Black Mountain had about 100 and 110 students on campus before winter break, where we were supporting some at-risk students, some students who just needed to be back for different reasons, some special education students. So we're gonna look to try to bring them back February 1st. And so I'm gonna get clarification on that and then include that information updated in hopefully this weekend's Sunday communication. So I'll continue to give updates in my Sunday communications. I just received that word last night, like you did, for that decision to send the recommendation to the board. I'm hopeful that the school district and the board will be on the same page, and we'll see what happens on Thursday night. But we plan to have small groups return to Black Mountain February 1st, is my understanding, and then A and B groups would return to campus on a larger scale on February 17th, is my best understanding. We're going to treat that first day back, February 17th, like it's a first day of school. We're really thinking of our sixth graders. Many of our sixth graders have never been on our campus before. And when they come back February 17th, it'll be the first time they're on campus. So we're going to have lots of staff out and about, helping kids get to classes, making sure they know where they go. In homeroom this week, they're actually working on some things, preparing for returning to campus, and students writing in their radar reminder, their schedule, and their classroom numbers. So we'll make sure that when we do return February 17th, that we've got people out and supporting kids, because we know that there's going to be a little of anxiety of first day on campus. So we're going to treat that day like it's the first day of the school year. When we return, we will have lunch that's available each day for all students that they can receive. And then also they can purchase during a nutrition break, they can purchase a snack. That snack has to be done with their card through their account in the district. And I'm going to send more information on that this weekend, so parents can load up their account if a student wants a snack for nutrition break. Students can also bring their own snack, and they can bring their own lunch. They don't have to eat the district lunch, but those are going to be available to all students. Lunch will be available. And then there's nutrition break, the snacks, if they want to purchase those snacks. Busing will also resume. It's my understanding, if February 17th is the day we return, it will resume with that. So if a family wants to have their child come to school via bus, then that will be available. If a student goes on the bus, when they get on the bus, there's a protocol to get on the bus, checking the temperature, asking the questions, making sure students are good to go. And so at school, we use the same protocol. Busing students will only do that when they get on the bus. When they get off the bus, we'll have a different way for them to enter campus, so they don't have to do it for a second time. So we're trying to make sure that our protocols are set up so those students can come through and we don't have to have that done twice. Speaking of protocols, this past weekend, I shared with you a video of our safety protocols that we're going to use at Black Mountain. Would anybody, I could show that right now. Could anybody give me a thumbs up? Would you like to see that video, or have you already seen it and I don't need to show it? All right, why don't I show it? And then I think it answers a lot of questions. Thank you. I got some thumbs up. I got my assistant Monique is giving me a thumbs up, so she's supporting me. I appreciate that, Monique. All right, so let me share my screen, and I'm going to share with you our video of our return to campus. So thank you for your patience. And
we are so excited to have students return to Black Mountain's campus soon. In preparation for the return, we created this video to show you what school will look like when you come back to campus. When you are dropped off, please enter between the 700 building, also known as our science building, and the 900 building, which is our front office. If there's a line, find the blue lines, stand 6 feet apart, and wait for your turn. Everyone will have their temperature taken, and everyone must wear a mask. Use hand sanitizer as you arrive. Hand sanitizer will be available throughout our campus. If you arrive late to school, please stand outside the front office main doors, and a staff member will then assist you. There are reminders throughout our campus to wash your hands, wear a mask, stay at least 6 feet apart, and keep everyone safe. In class, we will have desks spread apart and partitions are available. We have new water stations on campus to refill water bottles. In order to refill your water bottle, take off the top, place the bottle under the dispenser, and press the button. Water fountains will not be available for use. At lunch, it is important for students to remain at least 6 feet apart. When sitting at lunch tables, only one student is allowed per bench for the small tables, and only 4 students on either side of the cones for the large tables. We will have special lines set up in the quad for students to pick up a lunch from our cafeteria. Students will not have access to lockers when coming onto campus. It is important that you bring your fully charged Poway Chromebook each day. Personal computers may have a difficult time connecting to our Wi-Fi system. Please make sure you bring your books and supplies each day. Students are not allowed to share supplies. We are so excited to welcome more students back to campus. It is important that each of us does our part to make Black Mountain the safest school it can be.
all right, so a couple things for clarification, then I'm going to take questions because I think this is really surrounding a lot of questions that families have about returning to campus. The Chromebooks. So we realized that some students did not check out a Chromebook early in the year, and they'll need a Chromebook for returning to campus. So in February, we're going to set up probably on a Friday where families can come and pick up a Chromebook if they don't already have one. So we'll send out information on that. We'll make it it's clear to everyone, and we'll use our safety protocols like we've done in the past for a drive-through pickup in our parking lot to make it as safe as possible. So Chromebooks will be available, and we'll have a system for that. Our students, the ones that have returned to campus earlier in December, were really good about wearing masks. I was really impressed with their consistency of wearing the mask and also using the hand sanitizer as students enter the campus and throughout the campus using that. They're not as good at social distancing. This is predictable for middle schoolers that they would struggle in this area. And we really need parent support to talk to their kids about do your best to really give 6 feet of space between you and others. You know, I realize this as adults. I see adults that they don't respect other people's space. You know, as a person before COVID, I don't like close talkers. I like a little bit of space. I don't need to be far away, but I like a little space between me and another person. I think now it's really important that we give that distance between us and others. And middle schoolers struggle with that. And so we need the support of our families. We're going to give them consistent reminders. Our staffing's going to give reminders. But that is one thing they struggle with is staying apart from each other, especially at lunchtime. And so we'll have signage. We have protocols for our bench seating. But if they don't sit on the benches and they're sitting out on the quad, they really need to do a better job of keeping distance between them and others. So those are a couple updates I wanted to give to the video. I'll take questions now just on protocols and our plan for returning when we do Do you have questions about our protocols and safety on campus? You can use the raise your hand option under participants in your name, or you can just speak into the microphone. And no questions? Our district is also going to have a video that it's very similar to ours. They've actually used some of our footage. That's a district-wide video. It's very similar. It should be coming out to families soon if it hasn't already done so. Minyu. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I know you're not muted, but you're not muted. You're muted now. No, you know what? Just type it in the chat. I'll check it out in the chat. That's perfect. Anybody else can type in the chat too if you have another question.
I have a question.
Yes.
About the returning on February 17th. Do you know if there's a reason that they chose to have the return date be in the middle of when that holiday is, that, you know, they're off on Monday and Friday and then coming back on that Wednesday?
That's a great question. I'm going to look at the calendar right now to tell you the truth. I don't know what February 17th. I didn't realize which date it was during the week. That's
it's in the middle of.
Yeah, it is. It's a Wednesday, and it's that funky week, right? Where we only have 3 days that school week?
Right.
So we have Monday off and we have Friday off, and I don't know why they chose the 17th. All right. Well, I hope to find out that information. I have a couple principal meetings this week, and so I'm sure I'm going to get a little bit more information on that return for 17. I'm sorry, Kirsten, I don't have an answer for that one. I wish I could pretend to have an answer, but I'm just going to be honest and say I don't know. But I'll find out. How about that?
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? I'll try to check out. Lori, what can I do for you?
Yeah, can you explain the classroom situation? As I recall, I think at the last meeting that you had, you had mentioned about maybe some of the teachers aren't going to be there. Are there going to be some teachers that are virtual, but the kids are in the classroom?
Correct. Yeah, so we have some teachers that are returning, and so that teacher will be teaching concurrently, meaning that they will teach in front of the students in front of them on campus and the virtual students at the same time. So that's that concurrent setup. But we have some teachers that have medical reasons they cannot return. They are at risk and can't be on campus. So those teachers will teach virtually. And for their students, like let's say Mr. Jones, we don't have a Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones has to teach virtually. If he's teaching virtually, he has students that are on campus, right? So he has a group of A students first period and a group of B students first period. So if it's an A day, his A students will be on campus. We'll have a adult supervising those students who will then be accessing Mr. Jones's lesson via the laptop, the Chromebook. So they'll be doing virtual lessons with the virtual teacher, but hopefully they'll have other teachers that are on campus. So they have, there's a couple reasons to return to campus, right? And there's different reasons for different families. Some families, it's about supervision of their child, is that they don't have someone at home and they need a kid to go to school to help with that supervision. Some of it is because they want to engage more with their teachers, and we will have more teachers back, but there will be a number of teachers that won't be back. And so I know that, I believe last time we talked about, can you give us a list of names of who's going to return and who's not? And we are unable to give that list at this time. If at some point we are able to give that list, then I will provide information if that's something that the district is allowing us to do so. But we're still working out that process with some of our teachers too, in terms of their medical notes and their needs. And so some of it is based upon their privacy of their medical conditions that I cannot share. Of course, people would understand that. But if there is information I can share about who is or who is not, I will do that. But yes, you're right, Lori, that there will be teachers that are teaching virtually with an adult on campus supervising those students that are on campus. So our families have to make the decision of what they want to do in terms of returning to campus based upon the best. I'm trying to paint it in the most realistic view I can and being as transparent as I can. But we're going to be figuring things out too as we go. So
right. Yeah. So my thought was, if more of their teachers are not going to be there, why should we even risk the kids going to school when it's going to be the same thing at home? So I guess if more teachers are not going to be there, I'd rather my kids just stay home.
And so I think that's, for one family, that might be the reason what you need to decide, because your reasoning for coming to school might be different than in other families. Right now, we have it to where more teachers are going to be here than not.
Okay, good.
I can say that's what it is at this point in time. Things do change, but I'm hopeful it stays that way, because I really want to make sure, you know, we have teachers here to support our kids, and our teachers want to come back. I know of a particular cases that this, you know, teachers, that it's breaking their heart. All they want to do is come back, but they can't come back. And it's hurting their soul, and they get emotional about it. They want to come back. And so I want to make sure that's really clear. And I know that it is a struggle for families too. There's a question here, and I'm going to read it so I can just get it right, because I think I can answer it pretty well. I noticed on the dashboard, there are differentiating school-based COVID cases from community-based COVID cases. Is the school required to send out a notice for students and staff that acquire COVID outside the school? Can you explain more if people who get COVID, even if in a virtual student, are required to report they are positive? I think that's a great question, because unfortunately you've seen since winter break more and more notices, right, from me about a positive COVID case. So the answer is yes, we have to report all COVID cases of people in our community. There are people that have not been on our campus all year, but we still have to be transparent for our school district and our county that somebody in our community has acquired COVID, despite the fact they have not stepped foot on Black Mountain's campus at all. So those community-based cases are people that haven't been on campus. And so, yes, we do have to report those. And so I know that sends alarm to families of seeing these numbers. Most of ours have been people that haven't been on our campus, but we have to report those cases. All right, other questions that you might have, we could just open it up to anything here, any questions. I have a couple more things to share. I wanted to share some information about Asynchronous Fridays and also about helping parents. Why don't I do that real quick so I can cover all the areas that I wanted to make sure I covered, and then I'll open up to any questions that anyone might have. So please, if you haven't already done so, if you could answer in the poll that I put forth. We've had, I think 15 people have, we have 21 in it, have answered the poll. We're looking at what are ways that we can support our families with help and information for students that are learning virtually while you're at home. So we're looking at, you know, parent universities. We have a parent university that's coming up this week, hosted by our counseling department, about how to be successful in preparing for high school. I think we're full. I think we maxed out at our capacity. So we've got like 100 people signed up for that. So that's awesome. But for a future parent university or information I share in my parent communications, what are you wanting to know more about? And so right now in our poll right now, 38% of you, or the highest priority, is social emotional support for your student during this time period. And I understand that as a father. You know, I've got 2 boys at home learning, and one of my boys is knocking it out of the park in terms of virtual learning. His academics are really high, but I'm really concerned about his social interactions too, that he just isn't interacting as much as he normally has. And so I definitely understand that as a father. We also have goal setting and organizational skills. Computer support, nobody mentioned that as a priority, which I think is a victory for Black Mountain, meaning that hopefully some of the information we've been sharing out, the videos we've been sharing, have helped families with technology. But I know that we're not 100%, but that looks good. And then time management seems to be something that can help kids. Speaking of time management, I have something for you. I'm going to put it in the chat here to everyone. Asynchronous Fridays, I know, are a transition for us. That time is so important for our planning, for our teachers, and I really appreciate your support of Asynchronous Fridays. But I also know it's a struggle for some students, and how do they organize their time when they don't have to go to each class at a certain time period? So we made this chart, It's something that student could print out, or they could do it electronically to just organize their day. They can go through and prioritize and put down, here are the things I need to take care of today, and make a priority list of here's the most important thing I need to do first. So this is just a tool. I'm going to share it this Sunday, but I thought since you came today, I could share it now before our next Asynchronous Friday. So we don't have an Asynchronous Friday next week because it's a 4-day week, and we're going to be doing our blocks Tuesday through Friday. That clarification again will come this Sunday. I want to make sure I send it out to all of you. Oh my gosh, my link is blocked. I thought I made it to everyone. I'm so sorry. Let me pull it up really quick. Thank you, Lucian, for telling me. Oh no, it's not. It shouldn't be blocked. It's a copy. It means you make it your own, right? Like you got to make a copy of that. Did it not work for you? Does it not where you can just open it up? You can't read it either?
It's asking me if it's requesting access.
Yes.
Oh, it's asking requesting access. Okay, so let me go to it. Let me go to the original version. Just give me a second here. All right, I'll make the original version open to everybody, and hopefully then the copy will be open to everyone. I'm so sorry for that. Boy, I thought it's so cool. I got this cool little new tool for our families, but I guess it's good. I'm testing it out on you, so it doesn't go out to 1,200 families that way. All right, here, let's go. Almost there. This is really good for me. It's humbling because it helps me with to understand our teachers, what they have to do when, when they're trying to help adapt. Okay, so I have updated the permissions of the original form. Could you try again? I could help real time here.
Now it says make a copy.
Woo! So now you make a copy, and then that way you don't change the original, and you can make that your own. Your student can make it their own. Did that work? Monique's got it. Amy's giving me a nod. Yes. Okay. So it's just a tool if you want to use it. I'll share it again on Sunday, and hopefully when I share it on Sunday, it'll be the right way, and I won't have this mistake. Thank you for your grace and your support in that. I appreciate that very much. Okay, so that's the asynchronous support, a little bit of help, hopefully, for our students. All right. And the last thing I wanted to just encourage, again, anytime you can tell your kids, turn their cameras on in class. When students are engaged, they're going to do better in school. I know there are some reasons that a student, maybe it's not their day and they don't want to show their background. But I'm hopeful that is the exception, not the rule, that they often turn their cameras on, because if they're not engaging with the teacher, it's going to be hard to engage in the material, which is going to affect their learning. So it's just a plea. Have your students turn on their camera if they're able to do so. I do realize there are reasons why some families don't turn their cameras on. And I do, technology-wise, some of them, when their Wi-Fi is low, if they turn their camera off, they actually can get better reception. And that is also understandable. But hopefully, more times than not, they can turn their camera on. Those are the things I wanted to cover, but really, most importantly, I want to be here for you and answer questions. Any questions do you have that are coming? I'll try to monitor the chat. I'll look to see if anybody has. Ashwini, I don't know if I said your name right. I want to make sure, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, that's perfectly fine.
No, is it fine or is it correct? Because there's a difference.
It's correct.
All right.
It's correct.
Ashwini, thank you. Ashwini, what can I do for you?
So good morning. I just had a question about the school rating. So when we initially joined, my son is in 7th grade, by the way, I should have clarified that. So when we initially joined Black Mountain, the rating was almost 10, and then it dropped to 9 for the rating on the gradeschools.com thing. Now it is showing 7. We are still very happy with Black Mountain, but I'm not sure why and how things are changing. And if so, what are we planning to do about that? Because it's a great school, great principal, everything, but then I don't know what's going on.
So I am not familiar with that site. That's not a government site. That's not a rating that's used by school districts or by schools. I believe that's a private site. Correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody else knows. It's probably based upon parent reviews of the school, and they give a rating. If there aren't very many ratings, then if somebody gives a low rating, it's going to change the score dramatically. I don't know what that site is. I know that we're all, there's a lot of challenges that public schools are facing that we've never faced before. And I'm sure a lot of families are frustrated because it hasn't been the same. And perhaps that's where it's coming up in that rating. I hate to hear that. You know, we want to do the best for our students, and we're trying to do that each and every day. I'm not familiar with that site nor how that rating is given. So the ratings that the most important ones that really a school district uses, the California dashboard is done by the Department of Education for California. The challenge in the last couple of years is that one of the big factors is our testing that helps affect the rating. Are we in green? Are we in blue? I don't know if you've seen the California dashboard. I'll try to bring it up in just a second. It looks at attendance rate. It looks at discipline, suspension rate, our math scores, our English scores. Those all come together, and we get different ratings for those categories. The last time that was done for us, we were all in the blue or green. We actually had great ratings for it. It was one of the best that we've ever had. But we're not testing like we have. Like, we didn't do California the CASP testing last year, so they can't use that to rate our school because we didn't do that testing. And our discipline rate is phenomenal right now. We have no suspensions, but for obvious reasons. I think that's a very false positive. We can't go to that and say, look at Black Mountain's discipline rate. There's things that we're doing to improve our discipline and our suspension rate. You know, with suspension rate, any school can improve that. You could just stop suspending kids. That doesn't mean that changes their behavior. And we don't do that. We hold students responsible. If they do something that's a suspendable offense and we need to suspend them, we suspend them. But we try to do other things in support for students, mediations, counseling, our consistent core values of respect, responsibility, hard work, and kindness, our homeroom. All of these things are inclusive nature. They all help students feel more comfortable on campus. And if they're more comfortable on campus, hopefully we're gonna have less discipline issues, and they're gonna be more apt to learning. So that's our philosophy, and that's what we've been working on. I'm very confident in the work that we're doing. But again, the discipline, I do understand that's not quite an accurate portrayal because we haven't had very many students on campus. So we better not be suspending kids if kids aren't here on campus. But
thank you.
Yeah, I think Mrs. Taylor, thank you. Our counselor is here with us, and she gave us the California dashboard. You know, if you don't mind, this is something that's good for us to go through because let me see if I can share. I don't think a lot of people know about the dashboard as much as they could. Are you seeing the dashboard now where it says Black Mountain Middle School?
Yeah, I'm on that website.
Am I showing it? Am I sharing my screen?
No, not yet.
No. What are you seeing?
Black.
Just black.
Black.
It says you're sharing. You're started to share it, but it's not doing.
Then I selected that. Okay. I know. Now we're back. Share. It doesn't show now?
Yes, now it is.
Okay, thank you, Monique. So if this is like our opening page, and I believe what it's doing here is it's not giving us much information because I think that let's see, if we go back to 2019, there we go. This is the last one that we received because of information that we had. And you can see in absenteeism, suspension, what you want to be is in blue or green, even yellow. It means that there's been no regression. Orange and red mean you're going the wrong direction. There is an increase in that rate or decrease in that rate, depending upon if you want to be positive or negative. We want to increase our English scores. We want to decrease our suspension rate. So they are different. So you can see this was the last rating, but this was from 2019. And the reason why 2020 is not showing up, it's because, again, we haven't done that testing. So I don't think they can give us an accurate portrayal. That's the measurement that matters to school districts. I'm sorry that greatschools.org has us as a lower rating than we would all like to see. Okay.
Yeah, I know that it's a legit website, but and one that's used for all the home sales like Redfin, all those kind of websites too, pulls data from there. But I was just seeing that it dropped significantly, so I just wanted to bring it up.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Other questions that you might have for me, while you have me here this morning, I appreciate all of you being here.
So I posted it in the chat, but I'm experiencing, and I wonder if other people are having the same issue, the asynchronous days.
Yes.
Mondays used to be a really challenging day for my kids with the Zooms and the assignments. And now if it weren't for like one locked assignment that they couldn't get to, they were done by 10:30. And I don't know if that's what other people are experiencing as well. But it's a big drop in their engagement on that day and trying to get them to keep working academically.
Barbara, that's a great question. I'd love to hear from some other parents on what they're experiencing on Asynchronous Fridays. You know what, I did reach out to our teachers and I asked them for that the pace of learning. I know that some students were really worried. They were really worried about Fridays where a bunch of work was going to be piled on and it was going to be like wall to wall of all these assignments. And so I think our teachers are trying to balance that to where it's just not, it's not busy work that they're piling on. And so I hope that you see the work that's being asked to be done on Fridays is connected to the curriculum. It's worthy information, of worthy assignments to be done, and it's not busy work. So I think our teachers are doing their best to balance that. What are some other families seeing with the type of assignments? Amy, what are you seeing from asynchronous? We've only had two, I think, because we had one is a Monday and one is a Friday. So we're still learning. Amy, what are you seeing?
I also have a daughter at Mount Carmel, so she's had a couple additional asynchronous Fridays, and I feel like it's the same for both of them, where they do have a little bit less work, but I also think they're enjoying it because they get a little bit more time to collaborate with friends. You know, not together, but over Zoom. They do homework together. I don't know, I just feel like it gives them a little bit more time to be social, kind of like as if they were in school.
Yeah. And we also hope that they can catch up on some of their work, maybe through the week, that it's a chance to get some of that done if they haven't already done that work. So we're hoping that it's going to support students to where I don't want it to be from 8 to 3, just wall to wall. They're cramming in a lot of work. However, I do understand the point from a parent, like my kid's supposed to be in school. They should be engaged in some academic work. Some students handle it differently. Some get things done very quickly. Like one of my sons, he's very independent. If you tell him you got to get this work done, and he also does his work, he tries. I mean, we all know our kids rush through assignments at times, right? That they're not really putting forth their best effort. But if he knows what to do, he can get it done pretty efficiently, where other students, it takes them longer. So our teachers are trying to provide assignments to where all students can complete it. Some students might get it done a lot sooner than others. And so we're trying to balance that. All right, thank you.
I have just one more thing to add to that, is that also asynchronous days, they're expected to use more technology, kind of like Flipgrid, and that's been challenging for my kids, just not because they don't know how to use the technology, but because it's not working all the time. Yeah. And so that takes extra time to create or to upload the documents that they're supposed to turn in. So
that's understandable. And Amy, as you have multiple kids, right? So if you've got 2 kids that are trying to use the Wi-Fi and they're trying to access different websites and different programs, I could see where, and the uploading, I've experienced that same thing. So hopefully the time where they've got the breadth that, get the work done during the school day at some point and they check in at some point. It doesn't have to be done. If a student has first period math, that math assignment shouldn't have to be done by like 9 o'clock. Like it should be, by the end of the day, it should be completed, right? So we're trying to have that flexibility where students can use the day to get their work done. Well, all right. I see a question here. PE, can they be assigned a 30-minute walk or have parent approval of assignment? I think I know our PE department is trying to be careful about what they ask them to do, that they can do it in their home and they don't have to go outside because of, I think for safety reasons, like if they say every student has to go on a walk in your neighborhood and then something happens, God forbid, sorry. I think that they're trying to be conscious of those things. So they're doing their best to have the assignments be something that they can take care of at home and under parent supervision if necessary. So, but there should be some physical activity done, but sometimes, is that for the asynchronous, Minu, or is that, because Is it sometimes they're doing an assignment where they have to do like a journal entry or something? Describe to me what you've seen. Or if anybody else can chime in what they've seen as PE as the asynchronous. Again, it's only been 2 assignments, so we might need to give some time for our teachers too.
I will say mine were recording a video for their asynchronous PE. I thought that was fine. They were going through and doing. I will say it seems like with PE, kids are really allowed to keep their cameras off. So if you're not seeing your kids do PE, it might be because they have their camera off. I don't know. So, but my kids are doing PE, you know, at least 3 times a week. They're active.
So Barbara, when you say they're doing a video, it means they have to do a video of them exercising.
They did. They had
and
to
then submit the
record their
video.
own video and submit
that sounds like
for Friday.
Okay, that sounds like a very appropriate assignment for PE to do in that. Yes. Now our school policy, our district policy is that no one is required to be on camera for the lesson. Now, you know, I know our teachers, they would love it if every student had to be on camera, but for respect for some families and some situations, our policy is that no one has to be on camera. Unfortunately, some middle schoolers, some it's good for them because they need that support, and some are taking advantage of it, right? That because you said I don't have to do it, then I'm not going to be on camera, and then that's affecting their engagement. So again, that was kind of like for my plea for parents, if you can, please encourage your student to be on camera because I think it's going to be a positive impact on their engagement. All right, well, if there aren't any other questions, I'd like to thank you again for attending. I really appreciate you being here, and hopefully today gave you some more information about Black Mountain Middle School, and we appreciate your support so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye. More information will be coming in Sunday communications. I'll continue to communicate to the best that we can. Thank you.